Welcome back to Custom Guns and Reloading. This will be the final video in my 16-inch 6-arc Blackhole Weaponry upper build video series here. I'm just going to review all the parts in the upper and a few little side notes about some stuff as we go. So, starting at the tip here, the muzzle device is a Zev 762. I would call this like a hybrid muzzle device. It has some porting here at the top to kind of help combat muzzle rise and stuff. So I think these were at least on sale on their website if you buy direct for like 25 or 30 bucks. So I grabbed two of these. It's a fantastic deal. And I have one on each of my 6-arc uppers. I have another upper, which is a 18-inch Patriot Valley Arms Osprey, which I may do a build video on that as well. And so yeah, really hard to beat the value for that. Moving on to the barrel. This is a Blackhole Weaponry 6-arc barrel. It's 16-inch mid-length gas. It's 416Rs, which is stainless steel, and it's nitrided. And I believe it's a 1-in-7 twist. One quick side note on this barrel, which I'll kind of address a little bit later on, is it is very overgassed. And there's a couple things you can do for that, but I'll get into that at the end. But other than that, it shoots pretty great. I shot some 103 grain Hornady ELDX bullets that are hand loads with AA 2520 powder and Hornady brass at 2.245 inches. And after about 40 rounds, it really tightened up nicely and into sub MOA 10-shot group. So the accuracy is there, but it's way overgassed, so it kicks like a mule. The other thing to note about these barrels is I think these are the OEM provider for Sons of Liberty's SPR series barrels, so that it also has the 3-groove polygonal rifling. Just so a quick side note, this is different, and I did notice a slight reduction in speed with this type of rifling. Maybe it bites the bullet a little bit less or something, so just something to note on these, but the accuracy was really nice. Moving on to the gas block, this was a Sons of Liberty V2 .750 gas block. Nothing fancy. I didn't do adjustable gas or anything. Just a standard it's a set screw, just standard set screw gas block. The gas tube, I believe, was a Luth AR mid-length stainless steel gas tube. Nothing fancy there, like 15 bucks or whatever. So moving on to the rail, this was a 13-inch Icon Defense drive lock rail. These are exactly the same as the Sons of Liberty Gunworks. I think it's their L89, because this rail actually comes with the titanium barrel nut, which I had no idea. I thought these came with the steel barrel nut, which is similar to the Sons M89 rails. But so yeah, that was a nice little surprise. I could tell when I was holding it, it was like, wow, this barrel nut is super light. And yep, I looked it up, and these come with the titanium barrel nut, so it was a nice little addition there. And these are Icon Defense products are exactly the same as the Sons products, except they're cheaper. Not in quality, but they're just, the prices are way like you'll save 20, 30, 50 bucks if you get the rail over the Sons one, or same thing with the upper receiver. Icon Defense makes the exact same upper as the Sons broadsword upper. I think it's called Broadsword 89. So you just got to get the flared version of it, and it's exactly the same. So moving on to the upper receiver. The upper receiver is a cross machine tool UPUR-1 billet upper. I would call it a slight thermofit as far as the tightness on the barrel extension. I could slide the barrel almost all the way in by hand without warming it up until the very, very end. And if I pushed really hard, it would go in. So it's basically like an interference type of fit. But I didn't really see the accuracy, degrade as it warmed up. So it seemed fine. But if you may or may not want to bed the barrel into these type of uppers. But so far so good. I usually just shoot it to see how it goes. And if it doesn't shoot well, then I'll bed it with some Loctite 620 or something, or you can use a shim, whatever floats your boat. The dust cover is a Magpul, and I think they're technically called the Enhanced Ejection Port cover or something, but I like their polymer dust covers because they're super easy to install. So this dust cover, this is just a standard mil-spec forward assist. It's probably like BCM or Strike Industries or something. I honestly can't remember, but they're all basically the same. It's like 10, 15 bucks. Moving on to the internals here. The bolt carrier group is a CMC Enhanced 6-arc bolt carrier group. I really like these, as these are kind of my standard bolt carrier groups for accurized type uppers. They weigh about the same as a standard bolt carrier group, but they shift some of the weight towards the rear a little bit to expand it so that it prevents carrier tilt and stuff. I think the only thing I sort of customized on this was I removed the donut from the ejector spring. Other than that, everything is exactly as it came stock. I also like to add a little witness mark with my punch right there on the pin here so that I can orient it the same way. So that's the only sort of customization on that. And then the charging handle is a Warhammer, Breek Arms Warhammer Mod 2 Micro Latch FTE. Also, these are kind of my new standard go-to charging handles for ambi. I think they're like $50, and if you wait for sales, you can get them for 40 something, maybe even 30s, in the high 30s. So really hard to beat the value on that. I also really like ambi handles from, I like the Geisley Airborne. I like the BCM MK2. I also have Sons of Liberty ambi charging handles, but those are all like $70+, maybe even more for the Geisley ones. Sometimes those are over 100. So if you get them on a sale, they're like 70, but normally they're more. So I usually just kind of grab these guys and call it a day. Really hard to beat as far as the value goes. Now, getting back to the barrel being overgassed, I have two parts on the way that I'm going to use to potentially tame this. One is a suppressor gas block from YHM. Normally, the gas block has a hole that's well bigger than the gas port on most barrels. I think there's usually like 0.125 inches, the hole in the gas block. And these suppressor gas blocks have a hole that's like 0.6065 inches, I believe. And they tell you if it doesn't give you enough gas, just slowly drill it out a little bit at a time until it kind of functions properly. So I like the idea of not having anything to sort of play around with other than once you get the size figured out. I also have an adjustable carrier key from Rubber City Armory that you would basically swap this gas key out for a adjustable gas key. And there's a little hole in the back here where there's a screw and you can sort of open and close the gas off using that. I'm going to try to avoid that if possible. I'd like to just have a gas block and set it and forget it and not have any moving parts to deal with. But those are my two options to sort of tame this a little bit, because it's definitely way over gas and it kicks like a mule. So yeah, that's a quick build parts overview here. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks.